Welcome to another episode of Real Estate AI Flash. And today I have Aaron Chand from LPT Realty in Tampa, Florida. So I don't know how Aaron and I got connected originally. I think it probably was through Instagram. We started following each other.
Yeah.
And I saw him send me something on Instagram DMs. And I said, I need to have Aaron on the show because you were doing some stuff with AI. So first of all, welcome to the podcast, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've been loving the podcast. It's been cool to
Good.
see like more people, more agent stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So I know I gave just an intro of where you're from and who you're with, but I'd love for the listening audience to kind of get to know Aaron a little bit and your journey. How'd you get into real estate and bring us to today?
Yes. So I was actually born and raised in India, and really got into real estate by accident. I was supposed to go back to India to work with my parents, but COVID happened, all that thing, and they were like, our business shut down. So I was like, oh man, what do I do? And then had a buddy who was doing real estate. I was like, I guess I'll do that. That's that you can get into that pretty easy.
Yeah.
And then ended up loving it. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
Great.
And you've lived in India. I just found out about this. You lived in India for like 19 years in northern part of India.
Yep.
I don't know if you looked into Indian real estate and how it operates compared to the US version of real estate.
A little bit. It looks a little complicated. I was like trying to figure it out when I was there last. Like,
yeah, the word comes to me is thriving in chaos.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize, if you listen to the show, U.S. real estate is the most organized. No matter what everything else is going on, if you go outside the country, you'll realize the value of what's in the country. That's not the motto of the show, but thought we'll plug that in.
Yeah.
All right, so let's kind of dive into what was your first light bulb moment, Aaron, of AI?
With AI, it was, so what was working for me and my wife was also a realtor in our team was anytime we went over a client, anytime we had a really good experience with the client, it was because we went above and beyond in some way. It was hard to do like a very basic service for everybody.
Yeah.
And so we do that through it would always end up looking like a personalized experience in some way, shape, or form, whether that be a gift or follow-up or a tool or an idea for marketing their house. And the only thing with that is it's really hard to scale that.
Yeah, for sure.
And so then when ChatGPT kind of came out, I didn't really use it at all. And then I'd probably say like 6 months ago, I like kind of looked into it again and I was like, oh, there's a little bit more to this. And if I can give the AI a little bit more context, it can actually help me do a lot of these things at scale. So then that kind of just started it.
Yeah. So you were, as I call it in the AI world, you were a late bloomer.
I was, yeah.
But late. You've caught up and went beyond. That's why you're on the show, because I'd love to get into the things you're working on. And as you're listening to this, if you feel like, don't feel FOMO that you're not keeping up with AI, because very few people are.
Mm-hmm.
But what you should feel FOMO about is you should not be in the same place this time next year.
Yeah.
You should just be starting your journey on how you embrace AI to elevate the experiences. And I love what you and I, when we were talking, you're talking about personalization of your client experience at scale.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's where I think AI can really be transformational for your business if you sort of understand that scope. So let's kind of dig into some specific use cases, Aaron, that you've gotten into. I know you're doing a lot with AI. You may not be able to get to all of that, but let's kind of assume the agents are listening to the show or broker owners obviously are using ChatGPT or some level of AI at some level. Let's kind of open their eyes a little bit of what else is possible that you're working on.
Yeah. I'd say the easiest way to implement it is one, we save kind of our prompts in a file so that it's easy to pull them out.
Works,
yeah, exactly. And then it comes down to good notes on everything. Everybody having their conversation saved. If you can't save their conversation, at least maybe the last 5 messages. And then having a really good ability to take notes, and then not just like their criteria, but like what do they like to do, where are they from, anything. And then like I'll have the VA copy and paste those notes into ChatGPT, and then when he writes his response using the prompt that I gave him, it's personalized.
The other thing, when you said that, it occurred to me that all client meetings, to me, whether it's virtual we're obviously recording this virtually. Every meeting solution you're using has some kind of a note-taking ability, right? We're a Google shop here, Aaron, and Gemini, we've launched Gemini for Google Workspace. And Gemini's note-taking for Google Meets, although Google Meet is not my favorite platform, it is probably the best I've seen across all virtual solutions.
Oh, really? That's
It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So if you're with a client, you're on Zoom, whatever, all of them have note-taking ability virtually. Put that into the client notes. I mean, it has all the notes of what the conversation was, and AI will sift through that. In person, though, if you're in person with a client, I know you use this. I use Plod.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
I heard about it from you.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. And Plod reached out to us. So if you're looking for a physical note taker, and I got this, a shout out to Maxwell Stevens in Pocono Real Estate, who was the first that introduced me to Plod. And Plod reached out to us and they give us a $10 discount. So if you want to get it, we'll include the link in the show notes. And it's a great credit card style device what I like about it, and people love Otter. Otter's great too, by the way. I just wanted a device that was separate from my phone. Because if you're in a meeting, you don't want to leave your phone in the middle of the meeting to record it. I'd rather leave the Plod there and have my phone to me if I need to step out, stuff like that. So there's benefits for it, and it's HIPAA compliant, SOC 2 compliant for those of you that care about security and compliance. It's a great device. So one of the cool ideas, I don't know if you do this, Aaron, I've learned from Plod. So I did a public speaking thing. I said, let me just record myself on keynotes and stuff. And I uploaded the actual transcript to ChatGPT. And I said, this was a keynote I gave about AI, whatever. And I said, what are my strengths in this presentation? And what are my weaknesses? And what can I get better?
Yeah, that's good.
Self-critique is great. Client meetings, upload it to Plod and ask it, what could I have done better? Right? It's coaching stuff, not just minutes. So I love note-taking because most people suck at multitasking. I mean, if you're taking notes and listening, you're only doing one thing better.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a great takeaway too, by the way, in terms of, sorry, didn't mean to digress there.
No, I love Plod. I'm like always talking to myself, and my wife's like, "Who are you talking to?" I'm like, "I'm just taking notes."
There you go. That's it. Yeah.
Just brainstorming.
Love Plod. Yeah.
Yeah.
So personalization at scale. You were talking about putting that stuff in the CRM wherever you are. So continue that conversation on that piece.
Ideally, yeah. That's what's made it scalable, is because you can kind of tweak the AI, use the APIs and stuff in a CRM to insert notes, the whole conversation thread, a summary of, like, we have one field which is words to use and words not to use, and then we just kind of always refine those custom variables and keep the prompts the same, and it just kind of gets better and better. But it's made it so that our VA in the Philippines, our virtual assistant, has been able to do this personalized follow-up for us. And it's been like the engagement levels have been tremendous. And actually our clients have like kind of caught on, some of them, but they're like, no, we like it because you're going above and beyond. Instead of getting an automated text, I'm getting something
100%.
more about me. They're like, we like it. We know you're obviously taking notes. You're obviously, know what we want. Like, this just proves that.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, recently we had Suneet Agarwal from Sacramento from LPT Realty as well. And we started talking about VAs. I mean, a lot of people that are listening to the show use some type of an assistant, whether it's human or VA, although VAs are technically human also in a different country. Yeah. But it's important for you as an agent to understand AI enough so you actually select the right people helping you, so you're getting the maximum ROI, return on your investment. Because if your VA is not using AI, they're charging you more for what they can do in much quicker fashion if they're powered up with AI. So know enough to be dangerous, which is what Sunit said, so you can actually select the right people.
Yeah. No, we've had fun with it because he came in as a just calling, and then we just gave him a new task, and then he figured out that one task was he'd take in inbound messages and score them like low priority, medium priority, high priority. And we kind of build the SOP around that, perfect it. And then when that was done, I was like, oh, wait, AI could do this. And then we have the AI do that. He's on to the next thing. And that's really what's made it easy to grow. But yeah, it's huge. And I'm a big advocate of human in the loop, especially for 100%. Real estate, because I feel like our clients mean too much to us to just set and forget. Like, I feel like it's just not there yet, and I don't know if it will
Yeah.
be. I don't know if I even want it to be, but I love the human in the loop aspect of being able to have the final say, because it still keeps me in tune with my customers.
Yeah,
That's
for
what I love about
sure. And if you should know what SOP stands for, but Aaron mentioned SOP, I'm going to say standard operating procedure. So like when you get a buyer, you have a process. When you
it.
get a
Hmm.
seller, you have a process. Prospecting, you may have a process. You can document all this using tools like a scribe is great for SOPs.
Yeah.
But as you have that, your personalization at scale can happen because you have these processes.
Hmm.
So I'm curious to know, since you use VAs, can you give some insight into how many VAs you have? Is it just one?
Just one.
Just
Just
one.
one right
Okay,
now. One. Yeah, just one.
just
Just one.
one. Is it full time VA pretty much, or
Full time. Yeah, 40 hours a week. Wish I could. Yeah, he we use all the hours.
all the hours?
He
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
loves. Yeah.
Have you looked into AI calling services?
I have. Yeah, we've been playing with 11 Labs, doing like like almost like voice messages, like, "Hey,
Yeah,
John," rather than a full on calling thing. But I think people would really like it if it was like something on your website where they just have a quick question. They don't necessarily want to bug you.
yeah.
I think that could be really cool. But no, not too much. You told me about GenSpark, so I've used that a little bit.
Yeah, no. So for listening audience, you should, if you want to get comfortable, first, the key is to get comfortable with AI calling services before you can engage with them. And my personal belief, I think one of our recent guests, Keith Robinson, from he's a co-CEO of Nextome, said, where you deploy AI, you should deploy AI first in very low risk or no risk situations in your business. Don't go
Mhm.
to high risk and have it start interacting with your clients and screw stuff up, right?
Yeah.
But when you get comfortable, the way you get comfortable is use an AI calling service to do some personal stuff because it's very
Mhm.
low risk. So we've had, I don't know if you caught the episode with Catherine Lee from Simple AI.
No, I
Um,
didn't catch. No, I
yeah,
didn't.
so she's the co-founder of Simple AI, and it's a personal assistant app on your phone.
Oh, nice.
And I had it schedule my pedicures, and I didn't
Yeah.
make a call. So it calls and schedules it. I gave it all the details like a prompt
No, that's
in
cool.
the app. So they've just come out with a business version of Simple AI, and Catherine said we'll give 10% off. It's a monthly fee that you can customize the voice scripting, and it will call, like if you're a lead gen, for example, you have a lead that's not engaging. Most of the time people just don't want to call cold leads,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
AI can fill the gap there, right?
totally.
So start getting comfortable with the agents because they're coming, or if you ask some AI people, they say they're already here. You just need to
Yeah.
discover them, right? You know that, Aaron. So yeah. So what else are you working on with AI that agents could learn from?
Apart from the personalization, it's been really even. I mean, the direct mail that's been something that I'm really excited about.
So talk a little bit about how AI has impacted your direct mail campaigns. Let's dig into that because a lot
Yeah.
of agents do direct mail.
So, like, one thing we had a ton of success with getting listings is when we'd like write handwritten letters.
Mm-hmm.
It was really hard to do a lot of that though,
Yeah.
and we just realized if we have even just the property description, we can write something where the most of the letter is templated out, but there's just a small paragraph where it says something unique about them, and then the AI writes the letter, and then it gets mailed out, and it like you can scale that like virtually. You could send out 500 letters a day if you wanted, and that to me is going to have a lot more impact going to like expireds and
Yeah.
FISBOs.
Because there's something personal there that is at scale. So talk through that process. And
Yeah.
how do you execute that at a high level?
Yeah, so I mean, workflows are really big. Like even a tool like Any2N is really, if you can figure it out, you can do virtually anything with it. Um, so it can even like search the internet, pull a couple unique facts about the neighborhood, something like that, and the whole process is automated. So I just take the list of expires for the day, put it in the
That's the
workflow.
trigger.
Yep, and it
Yeah.
runs, and then I'm testing out 4 different campaigns that I just kind of been based on like Russell Brunson, like marketing stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and just to kind of see which one works best. But from then, like when you go on the appointment, like it's easy to scale the mail. You can do 500 if you wanted, and it's totally
Yeah.
worth it.
So for those of you that are listening, N8N, we'll put a link in the show notes, is an AI automation workflow agentic AI agent solution that all of these things operate with something triggers them.
Yep.
For the start. And in this case, it could be your expired listings.
Mm-hmm.
You upload something, it triggers it. And this N8N workflow that Aaron built, and correct me, chime in if I say anything, triggers certain things. You can go pull from a CRM, personalization data, if you have that based on what you're doing. And then it can augment it with some specific neighborhood stuff, market stats, whatever you want this story to look like in the output. And then it can spit out those personalized 500 letters.
Yeah.
Right? At a high level.
You can. Yeah. And then with N8N, and it's another thing that's like important too that I've noticed is having steps to even for an action in N8N or another AI agent, we could call it, to evaluate the previous one to make sure it's like we're not saying anything that's not like not allowed, and we're not
or whatever,
anything offensive or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then actually when it scores less than like 85%, it'll just cue me to go in and review it. Or the VA could do it. But
so I mean, we're starting to see automation of workflows. And I think they lump in AI agents under automation, which I think is a little different for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good way to wrap your head around it. Like, I mean, Zapier and Make.com are also big into automation, but they're not agentic by nature because there's no autonomous thinking is the right word, in it. But I think that can be looped into N8N because it can do both.
It can, yeah.
But there's several platforms N8N is a good one, but you need a little bit of technical chops to get the maximum out of it.
Yeah. It is tricky to navigate.
Yeah, but I think those systems will get less trickier as we go forward because they'll all take a simple communication prompt, clear prompting to build the agent. I've already seen some stuff like that. As you're listening to this, start thinking about your workflow. But I think the biggest piece I get out of this, before you even engage with a solution like N8N, in your case, Aaron, you had a SOP.
Yeah.
As to what you want this thing to do.
Yep.
Clearly defined. So that could build your automation, once you have that SOP.
And I've noticed like, it might be because I grew up overseas, but specifically like VAs and AI are training is very, very similar. And I kind of explained it to my wife. I said, like, if you're trying to explain something to someone from a different country, you can't assume they have any bit of context as to what you're saying. 100%. You've got to give them the background. You've got to give them the role. You've got to give them the desired outcome, what I want the outcome to look like. Here's a couple examples. And so we'll do that with the VA. And then the second we notice that he gets it, I'm like, okay, now the SOP is ready to be plugged into the AI, and you're ready to then check the AI and make sure that works well. And it's really cool how it's been able to scale, and a lot of things we've been able to automate fully and be able to sit back and not have to worry about a hallucination or like it's saying something wrong or
yeah. And sometimes when you're in the early stages, I'm sure you experience it, the agent just doesn't function well, and you fix it, evolve. Sort of like hiring a human that you can't expect the context and for them to produce excellent work on day one. There's a collaboration there. So think of AI as a human that you're collaborating with.
So we even like have a spreadsheet where the generated message from the AI we put in one column, the message that we will go tweak it, we'll put that message in the second column, and in the third column we have the feedback for why we decided to tweak it. And it's doing stuff like that has helped everybody on the team be able to scale, follow up, any all of these things. It's been cool.
That's great. So let's shift from direct mail. Any other use cases for your team that AI has either collapsed time or increased your efficiency?
One way is like emails is for sure. So instead of we used to send one email campaign out to the whole database, but then it was tricky because say we found a new construction promo, we were like, this is really good, let's send it out. But half our customers don't want new construction, they want resale. And it was kind of like, take me off your list. I'm not seeing the stuff that I like. So it's really hard to figure out how do we do this, because email obviously works. And so then before AI, we switched to tags and we tried to chunk everybody with tags. but then it was really tough to maintain that and keep it working well. And then actually one way that's really worked is we took like the whole CSV of each
Mm-hmm.
customer and their note summary, which is like one field of everything to do with them, and then even just uploaded that to like just a Gemini. Hey, can you look at this? And I got this new construction email. Which leads would be best for me to send this to? And then it kind of will tell me and stuff.
Yeah, one of the things AI does really well is with data.
Yes,
With the right structure. Like even if your database is unorganized, it can help you organize it.
big time.
Right?
Yeah.
As long as obviously it can't make up stuff, garbage in, garbage out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have notes that say new construction and you don't have the right tags, it can kind of. I've had agents upload a very unorganized CSV and get an organized CSV so they can get their CRM going in the right direction.
There you go. Yeah.
With AI, right? So
Yeah.
there's several ways you can play with data for sure. So that's good. That's good. Anything else on the personalization stuff that's working for you?
Mail, the email segments. I would say, and Loom's pretty cool.
Yeah. Talk about that. Talk about what you're doing with Loom.
Yeah, so
I use it all the time. Yeah.
we work with actually mostly relocation buyers moving to the Tampa Bay area. So their primary concern is areas and stuff like that. And so we actually just have general Loom videos on the whole area, but then you can switch out like the variable with John's name to Savannah's name to Hector's name or whatever it is. So we'll send them Loom videos kind of breaking down the area to help them. And then the next element is before we make a search for them, we'll actually make a Loom video, and all that's recorded, transcript, everything. And it's helped offer something unique that no other agent offers that actually solves a problem, which they
So
love.
are you saying that, I use Loom for some of my internal recordings and I put up on YouTube, etc. And I know Loom has AI functions in them, native Loom platform. So are you saying you record a neighborhood video as an example?
Yep.
I live in that neighborhood. Let's just assume that. And you're editing the transcript of the Loom video to say, hi, Rajeev?
Yeah.
Without having to re-record the video? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And then it synthesizes your voice and everything.
Cool. That's personalization at scale, right? in many ways, because, if you have 200 people in the neighborhood, you can't be shooting 200 videos to just do the personalization at the start.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Loom's great because it's rather than reviewing someone's search on an email and typing up an email, I'd rather just pull up the recording, pull up the house, and then say stuff like, hey, what do you think about these counters? I thought you mentioned, you didn't want, these types of counters. Like that. That's just been
that's cool. Cool stuff. This has been fun, man. I think our listening audience is going to get a lot of ideas around, because I believe marketing struggles with one to many.
Yeah.
When marketing is one to one, or feels like one to one, I think it opens possibilities that every agent wants to explore. And what we're talking about is you can leverage AI to make that personalization happen.
Yeah, you don't sacrifice time. No.
100%. So this has been awesome, Aaron. So I'd love to ask all my listening audience, our guests, 2 questions as we finish the podcast. So you've been in real estate how long?
A little less than 4 years.
4 years, okay. So you obviously learned a lot in 4 years. You're scaling your business to kind of do more operational stuff, things of that nature. What would your advice be to your younger self if you started in real estate today? One piece of advice.
Take notes. I think honestly,
take notes.
That's it.
I hear you.
Save everything. Like if you write something about a neighborhood, save it because you never know when you'll want to use it.
100%. And now with AI, you can save everything.
Oh yeah. We have neighborhood overviews on like all the big neighborhoods that we work in, and then put that in GPT. It's great.
Yeah. That's awesome. Great takeaway. Because that'll create your SOPs.
Yeah.
That'll create all the things you can produce. And it's true even with video. I tell agents that struggle with video, I said, look, you're doing video content every day. You just don't have a camera with you.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking to clients, take their permission, record the whole thing. You got video for whatever, So that's great. Note taking, excellent concept. So the next one is, I don't know if you're a podcast guy or a book person, but is there one podcast or book that's been probably more influential in your career to this point than the others you listen to?
Really, the book that I think got me excited about AI is this like AI engineering. It
Oh
sounds
wow, okay,
intense, but it's not intense. And I don't know how to program or anything, but
yeah.
even just understanding how prompts work, that's been the biggest for AI. And then for marketing, I'd say definitely 100 Million Offers by
Oh
Alex
wow,
Rajeev.
nice. I've not heard of that. That's it's been around for a while. 100 million offers.
Oh, that one that's like the best book I've ever written. I mean, read, sorry.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So since you mentioned the book, recently there was a book that came out, and it's called Agent to AI Gent.
Oh, I like it.
And it's written by Alan Dalton, who's got a couple of books out, but he's sourced industry leaders, and I have a chapter in the book
Oh, nice.
about AI, but it's written by real estate professionals for real estate professionals, and it's available on Amazon. And if your goal is to become skilled with AI, it's one of the books I would recommend for our listening audience. We'll put the link in the show notes as well. But
Yeah.
this has been fun, Aaron. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking the time. I'm sure it's nice and warm in Tampa.
Yeah, it's a little too warm.
Too warm. Well, it's cloudy here in Northeast, but I'm sure it'll get better. But I appreciate you taking the time, and hopefully we'll meet in person real soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Rajeev.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take care.